Sausage party? More like sausage fest. Alright.
Heyo!
How's it going, you wild moviegoers? Today we are reviewing Sausage Party. This was also a request by you guys, so let's get right into it. The general audience score on Rotten Tomatoes was given a 64%. Should change, but this is actually one of the times I will agree with the general audience score. They really emphasize crude humor in this one. You know you're gonna get crude jokes, all the profanity. It's funny because the general audience score gave me a little bit of hope with our society, because I thought a lot of people were going to be like, oh my gosh, it was the greatest movie ever. It was the best thing I've seen. It's so damn funny. I thought a lot of people were going to come out saying that. I thought it was going to get like a 90% for that reason. But now I have a little bit of hope, and I have to side with the audience on this one and actually go a little bit more further than that. A lot of people complaining about the jokes being way too crude. Some of the jokes were tasteless. It was way too much thrown into your face, and I definitely got that feeling. For the rest of the people, that's something they enjoyed. The constant profanity didn't really bother them. And if you're one of those people who are easily entertained by so many dick, boob, and vagina jokes, I guess then this movie would be for you. Personally, I'd like something more. Now, the critic reviews literally make no sense. 82% given to this movie absolutely fucking blows my mind. Some of the critics are saying, oh, it pushed boundaries on like that rated R humor. Some jokes really went there and whatnot. No, it fucking didn't. Crude humor has been around for so long already that to the point where it's getting old. It's really just getting old. How many dick and vagina jokes do I have to hear for me to be like, oh, you know, it's the 15th time I've heard this joke. Should I laugh now? Should I have laughed fucking 5 years back? I've come to the point where I really don't trust critics anymore because of the way they review movies. A lot of them are coming out now saying, oh, let me give my edgy review and my edgy opinion on this edgy movie. It's fucking not. We've heard it a million times. I thought Neighbors was a pretty bad movie. All comedies out nowadays just rely on that dick humor. Sausage Party not only didn't even try to kind of steer away from it, but they said, let's make that our fucking main focus. So sorry to the critics, but you guys literally just embarrassed yourselves and tried to make something more out of dick jokes thrown into the screen. Let's get on to my personal review. Spoiler alert. Let me first talk about all the good points in this movie, and there are a few. A lot of the jokes written, some had a little bit of thought into it, some actually touched on stereotypes, religious views, social norms, things like that. A few jokes had some cleverness, I guess, put into them, but that was only maybe about 15% of the movie. Such as the references between Jewish people and Arabic people. The whole comedy take on them being in the same aisle were lavash and bagels. There was a Hitler reference hating towards the juice, or juice boxes. Donald Trump would be proud with the Mexican-related jokes, mentioning the border. So besides all these kind of cleverly depicted parts, the entire rest of the movie was just utter shit, dick, vagina, orgy jokes thrown onto your face. There were a few moments where the character humor was pretty funny, and I say character humor because of the way the animation and voice acting was done. They really took modern society and tried to relate everything. The drugs, shooting bath salts, all the crude humor is like the stupid shit you hear people say here anyway. I mean, as soon as this movie began, it was nothing but a bunch of curse words, a bunch of Seth Rogen humor, things you've seen like in This Is the End and other Seth Rogen movies. It would have literally been better if they only insinuated those crude jokes and left it more towards the story and everything, and for the audience to, I guess, pick it up. So let's be a bit more specific. In the beginning, with Frank, Seth Rogen's, hot dog weenie character next to the buns, the entire dialogue scene in there is, oh, I can't wait to get in that, and fuck her, and this, and ooh, she's ready for me. All the writing was really specific and very obvious about male parts, female parts, sizes, deformities, everything. It wasn't cleverly insinuated like I would have appreciated. But for the fact that it was so like, here you go, thrown in your face of penis size and dick joke this and virgin that, it was so in your face you kind of get overwhelmed by it. I can definitely see watching this movie for a second time being like, holy shit, like, it was good the first time and now it's just way too much. They touched on some religious factors. Lavash talking about 72 bottles of virgin olive oil. See, things like that are the clever bits, but the entire rest of the movie absolutely lacked. They really should have kept it like that. If they took out 85% of the crude humor out of this movie, I would have enjoyed it 10 times better. For the fact that their main focus was, let's see how many fucks and cum jokes we could throw to the audience and get away with it, that's where I draw the line and be like, okay, now you guys aren't even trying. You guys are just trying to, in a way, overcompensate. The ending was absolutely disappointing. The whole thing pretty much ended with them getting back at the humans, killing them off pretty much, and the very, very ending ends with some giant orgy fest. It didn't matter which type of food you were, male, female, nothing. That was a bit way too over the top. They threw in a bunch of fast cuts, flashing that bit of humor in your face one after another. There's a moment where you're sitting in the movie theaters and you can kind of tell, like, you can kind of hear the audience in the background going, oh god, ew, like, you know, just some natural reactions with like a few things, maybe a giggle here and there of how ridiculous it was, but that's exactly what the movie's tone was. It was just ridiculous crude humor thrown onto the screen. If you've seen a movie like This Is the End, and if you've seen a movie like Neighbors or Neighbors 2, this is pretty much an animated version, except 3 times worse, with the crude humor, profanity, and all the other depictions in between. So my reasoning, honestly, there's no good comedy out there really anymore. Maybe 1 out of 100 movies would be a very good, genuine comedy. But comedy these days, let's be serious. Their target audience, short attention span kids, maybe teens sneaking into this movie, you know, people like that who just are gonna laugh out loud of, oh my gosh, that dick joke and the freaking over-exaggerated jokes. If that's really all you cared about in a movie, then this movie is for you. But other than that, personally me, I thought this movie was utter garbage. Literally would have liked it way better if 80% of the jokes were removed. Maybe more focused on the plot. If they really worked on subtly depicting these adult jokes, sometimes they brought it out a little bit for that like kind of blunt humor, but they more so cleverly hid it in between the lines, it really would have been a way better movie. With the rating system here, my final rating for this movie, Sausage Party, I give it a solid D-. The only thing keeping it from an F is for the fact that they tried and gave you a little bit of that sense where it really could have been much better. Thanks guys so much for watching this review. Request me more movies in the comments below to talk about. If you enjoyed it, if you watched the movie, let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree, that's fine too. I'll see you guys on my next review.